Alright, howdy y'all, my name's Emilio, and this is my video for the fourth debate for POS-361, American Foreign Policy. The question is whether or not the U.S. intelligence service, including the CIA and other agencies, have been a positive force when it comes to United States foreign policy. And I'm going to be arguing that the United States intelligence has had a positive effect on United States foreign policy. Now, the reason behind my stating this is that when it comes to foreign policy, it's very important that the decision makers are making their policy choices with as much information available as possible. For very obvious reasons, it's extremely beneficial that policymakers go into each negotiation and decision-making situation with as much information as is possible to have. If you know what you are up against, you can make far more effective policy decisions that are more beneficial, especially in the long term. Now, obviously, the United States Intelligence Service and the CIA in particular has not always had the most glowing track record when it comes to foreign policy decisions and actions. If you look at operations such as TP Ajax and PB Success, both of them have had significant long-term consequences that have not necessarily been beneficial, especially if you look at TP Ajax, which was the Iranian coup in 1953, that has had significant detrimental impact on United States foreign policy in that region. Now, that being said, if you look at PB Success, which was the Guatemalan coup, this was actually relatively successful for the CIA. It accomplished a lot of their goals. The only drawback was that it did create long-term instability in the region. However, that has not created a significant negative effect on the United States personally. So if you want to look at it from an extremely realist perspective, this has actually been a great success because the United States achieved its goals without taking any significant flack from it. While the rest of the region has had to deal with the issues, the United States has been free from that. But if we move past its bigger covert action moves of the United States intelligence services, which generally speaking have a lot of complicated issues that arise when it comes to long-term effects, you can look at the more domestic side of it with the FBI as well as the CIA when operating during the Cold War, in that they not only were able to secure many important defectors and create many important agent relationships, but also the FBI was successful in feeding false information through various moles that they had found in order to fool the Soviets into believing false information. They led many successful misinformation campaigns. The FBI was also extremely successful in being able to out various agents through this process. And the way it worked was essentially when the CIA was able to pull in agents such as Penkovsky, they were able to then give the agency information regarding potential leaks within the United States intelligence services, which the FBI was then able to not only find in the cases of Hansen and Aldrich Ames, but they were also able to exploit a few of those specific situations by feeding false information. So historically, both agencies have had good success especially when it comes to counterintelligence operations. If you look at it, especially within the past few years, they've actually had to conduct operations against specific acts of covert action that come in the form of political influence and or attempts for foreign nations to influence political processes in the nation. So this would be the NSA and FBI being able to uncover the Russian attempts to influence the election. Now, that being said, whether or not the reports coming out of the intelligence community were believed and acted upon by certain members of the current administration is a completely different story. However, the information provided should have been very beneficial for United States foreign policy. But if you're also looking in the more recent years for success, you can look at the DIA and the NGA, both of which are apparatuses of the intelligence services of the United States that provide real-time valuable information during military engagements. The DIA, being the Defense Intelligence Agency, is one of the intelligence agencies that, while a civilian run, is very heavily involved in military operations. if you look at the NGA, which is the National Geospatial Agency, they are extremely important, especially for live intelligence that's being fed in to not only conflict situations, but also to disaster relief situations, because they use multiple sources of intelligence, mostly focusing on geospatial, which includes satellites, maps, and imagery, in order to form live, real-time pictures of information. This has come up very big in situations in which it was important for the people operating the situation to have that kind of information. So that's my main argument for why the United States Intelligence Agency has been beneficial for, or intelligence agencies have been beneficial for foreign policy. Thank you.